the nuts and bolts. And I'm just going to take a little bit chronologically. It's been over a decade you've been here. Just some thoughts about the run you've had here and maybe a couple of things that have been high points for you and things you'd still like to accomplish.
Well, I've enjoyed just about every minute coaching here. There's been a lot of trials and tribulations to coaching any basketball team over a period of time. I think that the low points are the injuries. The injuries have been too much, too freakish. You know, Mike Mara coming back and he's running for the first time up the left sideline, catches a ball, no contact, turns and pivots and blows out his knee again. There's so many things like that have happened that, you know, it just that's the low points. The high points are seeing guys move on, and in their lives, what I try to do for them is give them a lot of love. And what's something I believe is missing in a lot of parents' lives today is discipline. They give their children a lot of love, but not enough discipline. And I've always believed that discipline is probably the shining moment of love. If you give discipline to children, you're giving them much better love than hugging them or patronizing them or giving them things. The greatest affection you can give a young person is discipline. That's love coming through loud and clear. So that's what I try to give our guys. And when they leave here, I see it all the time. I have some wonderful stories one-on-one with my players that just are so heartwarming. And that's why you're in this game as a teacher. The wins are going to come, the losses are going to come, the Final Fours, the Elite Eights come, the Big East Championships come. But when they leave you, are they men that you made them better emotionally, not necessarily physically, because that comes with the training, but are they more mature and they emotionally ready for this world?
You and Tom Church both once mentioned the brand, and it's been mentioned a lot since, but we've seen the brand change a lot too. What are your thoughts about where that brand was without trashing the way it has, but where it has gone to where it is now? How do people look at Louisville today as the brand?
Well, what I started is Louisville First, and then they added Cards Forever. And the reason I said Louisville First is we were entering a generation right now where everything from the way you tweet to the way you go on Facebook to the way it's such an incredible I generation, me generation, that I want the players to understand that the technology is there to stay, but understand why we're in this game. We're in this game for Louisville First. We really are. We're playing this for our university. We're playing this game. Along the way, if you give great effort and execution and you play for your jersey, things are going to follow along as if it's your shadow in terms of success for you, the individual. So when you step up to the plate and you're just thinking of helping your team win, you're probably going to get a double, triple, or a home run. If when you step up there, the right reasons are for you.
Along the way, you know, the arena downtown, it just seems like it has come so far from what you first inherited. Again, take nothing away from anybody in the past, but the Louisville and the Cardinals of 2012-13, you know, preseason top 5, number 1 in some cases, it just seems like this may be your best team, this may be the best at times. Is that a fair statement?
I think the T-Will team, with Earl and those guys, they were a very good basketball team. And obviously they won the regular season Big East Championship and the Big East Championship when the Big East was probably the best it's ever been in its history. So that was great. But they weren't humble enough to get the job done. Last year's team was extremely humble, and they overachieved to a level that even I questioned at the end. But they got there. So that's why I keep mentioning the word humility with this basketball team. I know sometimes what can stand in the way of progress with a team. And the number one thing, the number one killer of potential is a lack of humility. And we're always going to work hard. We're always going to give great effort. We demand that of our players. That's not the problem. But are they humble enough to understand they haven't arrived yet? And whether it's business, whether it's sports, or any facet of life, if you reach a certain point and you think you've arrived and the success has arrived and you stay complacent, watch your competition kick your butt.
Your work ethic is second to almost none. I don't be able to come up with who the other person might be. The fire that exists in you now at 60, how do you maintain that? I'm 55, about to be, and I'm like, wow. I mean, you know, you're not 30 anymore. Not to take anything away from 60, but how do you do it? What drives
you? You know, I'm not sure, because the other day I did 4 individual instructions. I was at the top of my lungs. I coached a 3-hour practice, 2 hours and 40 minutes of practice, and then I had to give a speech at across the river, and I went home and I couldn't sleep. So, yeah, I've always found in my life things are going pretty well when you can't sleep for some reason. When things aren't going well, I'm out.
I've covered you since I was in grad school at Boston University. You're different now, and I mean, it seems like you don't sweat the small stuff as much. Is that a fair statement? Do you see yourself being different now than before?
I think I'm probably, the last 3 years have been about as polar opposite as you can get from when you watched the sidelines at Boston University. And it should be that way. It really should be. Every 10 years that you mature in your life, it should be a lot different. You know, it should be a lot different when you become a grandfather. It should be a lot different when you turn 50 or turn 60. You know, things aren't as important as they were at 35 as they are today. You know, certain things today really don't faze me too much when you mention them to me.
Completely understand. Regardless how much time you have left, whether it's 10 years or whatever, 5 years, what would you like to accomplish? What would you like to see happen? Where do you see yourself and with this program being in 5 or 10 years?
Well, I know we're always going to give great effort, so we're going to sustain that. And I want to make sure I'm still the teacher, and nothing ever deviates from that. I want to be a teacher of men, a teacher of basketball. I want to be a teacher and help the university in any way possible. I want to give back to the community that's been so great to me in any way possible. But that being said, you know, we are in the business of winning basketball games. And we've got to win along the way with integrity. You know, I want to make sure there's always, I've made my mistakes in my lifetime, but when it comes to teaching and coaching basketball, I don't want to see any mistakes along those way. You know, we can't let anything, we've got to be on top of every little thing. So integrity is part of our industry, and I want to make sure of that.
Good. Oh! Your horse came in second.
Yeah.
Did you get to see it?
He came around with a 2-length lead around the turn.
So?
You know, we thought Rusticulus would win. The trainers thought he would win.
Did you bet him?
The reason I named him Rusticulus was because they told me this horse could be anything. He's a Malibu Moon. He's a Stormcat, Stormcat on the dam side, and they said this horse could be anything. And as soon as the trainer phrased it that way, I said, I got the perfect name for you, Rusticulus. I did watch him on television, did bet the horse, came in second, got 360 to place, so Baffert beat us. But
so you bet win place, not just...
I did, and I hit the exact...
They are. Okay.
And so I'm ahead of the game, but Rusticulus is certainly a horse to watch. I think it could be anything.
He's never taken a shot he didn't like kind of thing, the horse too?
Rusticulus... I told Russ, true story, when I came back, we had practice about an hour later, and I said, he said to me, how did Rusticulus do? I said, you'll find out, get on the treadmill, because he got beat in the last jump. And you're going to be in much better shape than that damn horse.
Thank you.